For this episode of Just Ask Eric, our question comes from Mark Kara of Ontario, Canada. She wants to know, what is our oldest church building? We're about to go inside St. Michael's. Explain. St. Michael's is the oldest surviving church structure in Charleston. I have to specify this because it isn't the oldest congregation. The cornerstone of this structure was laid in 1752. It opened for service in 1761, 9 years later. Since then, it survived the British bombardment, it survived hurricanes, it survived fires, it survived the Union bombardment, it survived a 7.5 earthquake, and then a major tornado in 1938 tore a big hole in the roof. This building is designed in an east-west pattern. It's 71 feet long, it's 51 feet wide, the ceiling is 31 feet high, decorated with classic Greek images, including the Greek key and the egg and dart pattern, egg and dart meaning life and death. Behind me is one of the oldest pieces of wrought iron in Charleston. This is the prayer rail, imported from London in 1772. On the other side of the rail are two important graves. This is the second and third Anglican bishops of South Carolina, Bishop Bowen, Bishop Theodore DeHaan. Above them, this beautiful stained glass window was done by none other than Louis Comfort Tiffany. It's based on the Raphael painting of St. Michael's casting out the dragon, or Lucifer. This grand chandelier above me was imported in 1803 when it was lit by 42 candles, each of those hand lit by lowering the chandelier using a pulley system. 1880, the chandelier is taken down, sent to New York, where it's modified for gas, and in the next few years, it's electrified. The Anglican pew arrangement was based on a pew tax. Pews toward the front, closer to the pulpit, cost more. Pews in the back cost less. The pew we're standing in, though, is the governor's pew. It's reserved for dignitaries, including our first president, George Washington, who worshiped in this very spot Sunday morning, May 8, 1791, on his southern tour. Decades later, you'd have the Marquis de Lafayette on his farewell tour, 1825, worships here as well. Give us another few decades, 1861, Robert E. Lee will worship in this same very spot. Across the aisle from the governor's pew is the main pulpit, original to the building, 1761, hand carved in mahogany. The pulpit has above it a sounding board, which is an example of colonial sound amplification. This arrangement is what's known as a double-decker. The pulpit is 1761. The front portion is a little later, 1892. In between, there are these letters, IHS, in a slightly different colored wood, not mahogany. Those letters represent the first three letters of the name Jesus in Greek. Interestingly, that was taken as a war trophy following the Civil War, returned several years later. Another important feature inside of St. Michael's is their baptismal font. Imported from London just 10 years after the building, 1771, at a price of 10 English guinea. If you've been by St. Michael's, you would have noticed these imposing wooden doors because they're 12 feet high and weigh 700 pounds. St. Michael's Steeple, inspired by St. Martin's in the Field, designed by Christopher Wren. This steeple is 186 feet high with a weather vane atop that's 7.5 feet. Inside of the steeple are 8 bells cast at the Whitechapel Foundry, which have a story of their own. December 1782, when the last British ships are departing, they took those bells with them. Purchased by a merchant who returned our bells to St. Michael's, properly so. War between the states. There's a fear that General Sherman will come to Charleston. The bells are taken down, sent to our capital, Columbia, where they're stored in a wooden shed for safekeeping. Ironically, Sherman didn't come to Charleston, he went to Columbia, which he burns. Those bells are severely damaged, have to be sent back to the Whitechapel Foundry for recasting. Markera, thank you for your question about our oldest church building. For future questions, submit them to Just Ask Eric at our website found at this link below.